Brent Porcio, TopVelocity.net. I'm going to pitch analysis here, Mike. On the right, we're going to pair him up with Cody Hall. Let's take them both coming out of leg lift. So you can see Cody already starting to, pick up more momentum. You can see his shin is starting, where he starts with the shin more inside drive leg. You can see Mike's the other way. So Cody, right before he opens front foot, you can see how much momentum he's created as opposed to Mike. So what you're seeing is common things of more momentum is a more linear force vector of the drive leg. So you can see a good, 10-degree difference. You see even, a longer stride. That would be the same result of that. You can also see Cody's a little bit more counter-rotated with the trunk, which is going to allow his hips to lead as he opens and drives into his next movement. So you can see back leg continues to create force as it goes into rotation, which drives the shin down into landing. And then he brings the arm up into the cocked position, shoulders still closed. You can see Mike, back leg is turning down, but not able to drive force through it. Could be, the force vector not being linear enough. It could also be the lack of power in his legs to do this. So when he hits front foot, you can see he's quick to tuck his glove side. And that has to do with the fact that his hips are late. You can see Cody's hips more open. So you're going to see a little bit more hip to shoulder separation here. Definitely with, a lot more momentum. We see even at this point the longer stride. We see the more linear front leg force vector, a little bit more vertical there. So Cody has a little bit more delayed trunk with more momentum, so you're going to see more dynamic finish. You're going to see a little bit more forward trunk tilt and maximum external rotation. So you see a little bit more external rotation here than you see with Mike. And if we look at the trunk positions, let's see, we got looks to be, not too far away. I'd say, actually, this one's probably a little bit more vertical here, but I could say maybe a 10-degree difference, which is kind of interesting. I usually say these aren't coincidences when the force vector back here before leg drive, right before he opens the front foot, if that's a 10-degree difference, it's no coincidence that the finish is a 10-degree difference because that's where the initial force came from. So if the force is coming up in this direction and the force is coming up more in this direction, it's not coincidental that the trunk is finishing in the same vector. And now that could be altered if they both had more linear front vector. So for example, if Cody pushed his front leg back into extension more, he'd see even more forward trunk tilt. But because they both have a similar front leg position, Cody's is a little bit more stable, and Cody had a more linear back leg position in the drive, that's the correlation. That's how those are connecting, which is cool to see. Like I said, you're seeing a more load on the arm, which all this is a more coil and better transfer of energy. And even to release, you see Cody with the more forward trunk tilt at release and a little bit more linear front leg. So, probably similar size. Cody's probably taller, but Cody's about 235 here, 240. Mike's, a big guy. He could be a little bit more than that. But you're looking at two big guys. You definitely can see Cody building more momentum, delaying his trunk, separating his hips and shoulders, a more stable front leg, and this all transferring to more forward trunk at release. So Mike just needs to work on building the leg power and strength to be able to move more explosively, more dynamically like Cody is here, and then really work hard to achieve these movements, and he'll see a big jump in velocity.